Hey there, everyone. Let's do a quick review of the Tuesday in sports with the three algorithms that we have active today for sports algorithms. We've got NBA, then we're going to talk about NHL, and then we're going to talk about college basketball. So let's start with NBA. It's a really short schedule for NBA tonight. We like one favorite being Brooklyn, the Nets, and two underdogs being the Celtics and the Spurs. Look at the health. This takes into account injuries. This is red, but it's only red because it's the lowest one of these teams. But you can see that the health for the Lakers, somebody's hurting on the Lakers. So the Celtics here is actually what I think the algorithm is saying is the best paying pick on the list with a margin of 5.7% in this game. And so, like the Celtics, the Nets too, you can see how the Mavericks are really hurting. So this Nets at minus 161 is also probably a good pick. And this one's going to be a little closer with the Spurs and the Knicks because Spurs are having some injuries and the margin's really, really tight. All right, so that's basketball. Let's talk about hockey. Big schedule in hockey tonight. We'll go and we'll just go down as we go. And we have Columbus and Toronto to start. It favors Toronto pretty much all the way across the board here. Okay, the line's not very good, but does think Toronto wins that game. Tampa Bay and Montreal. This is the number one pick of the day for the algorithm says is Tampa Bay over Montreal. It's only minus 208 for a pick of the day. It's not that bad. A lot of strength everywhere in every position. So Tampa Bay number one pick of the day. Islanders and Ottawa likes Ottawa at the underdog line of plus 132. Islanders, you can see how terrible they've been playing. Have not won a game in a month, apparently. Wowza. You get an underdog line with a team against that. It's almost too juicy to say no. So Ottawa looking good. Nashville and Detroit likes Detroit at an underdog line, except the adjusted power does favor Nashville, and the raw score would favor, but something's wrong here. This is weird. I don't know about this. I think something's wrong here. PKK. Why is this margin so bad? It looks like they haven't been playing that much worse, but Detroit's been playing that much better. So it's really heavily favoring Detroit because of that. So keep that in mind. This is really screwed up. Huh. I'll have to dig into why that's happening, but not many people are paying for this NHL algorithm, so I've kind of let some stuff go. Anaheim and Buffalo favors Anaheim. Okay line there, 31% margin, not bad. Florida and St. Louis. It likes Florida. Spencer Knight probably going for Florida there though. Mixed bag, but does like Florida. Carolina and Winnipeg. Likes Winnipeg. That's a surprise. Carolina fallen off the wagon recently. How about that? Close game, but close line, so it's really not a lot of value there because it's either team's a toss-up game. Rangers in Chicago likes Rangers. Only minus 125 for a fourth pick of the day. Georgiev may be going in net. That could cause more goals than you would think in this game, right? Gets over 6 that way. But does like the Rangers. Minnesota and Edmonton. Minnesota, number 2 pick of the day over Edmonton at an underdog line. How about that? That's a very interesting pick there with an underdog line. And then Calgary is the 7th pick of the day over San Jose. Markstrom going. So some interesting picks in there. A lot of value with Minnesota. Rangers look pretty good there. A lot to talk about. All right, so let's go to college basketball. College basketball has 35 games on the schedule. First thing we always look for is home underdogs. And there is one, but I'd like to talk about that one. And I'll talk about it when we look at all underdogs because it's easier to understand. So I have added something in here called the strength of schedule number that we get from one of these sources. And the opponent's strength of schedule and then the difference between the two. And we are measuring that number, and when that number is red, it means that this team right here has played a lot of really, really weak teams throughout the year, and the other team has played good teams. So when you see this, like we see with Madison here as well, they have not played anybody good, so their stats are a little inflated playing teams that weren't as good. So I'd be really hesitant with these underdog picks with terrible strength of schedule differentials. It hasn't really meant much yet. It hasn't been predictive yet, but I suspect it will be if there's any value in this strength of schedule number that each team has. So there are some underdogs that have good strength of schedule, like College of Charlestown at Tulane, North Dakota State at Montana State. They're away, but interesting picks plus the points. And up here, a little bit hurting Massachusetts, 16% margin on the road at 120. But these two look better because of this. And even Navy, over a hurting George Mason, also looks good. So these three, you can see how I think the algorithm is saying that those are better. That's how I'm trying to read this. I hope I don't have bad luck in the way I'm reading it, but the numbers here, I'm definitely reading that right. That it thinks that these teams have played better teams, and therefore their stats should be more reliable. Now, looking at all of our home teams, which is something we should look at. We should look at all of our home and all of our away. You got 22 home teams. What sometimes you can do, one of the things that I talk about doing is taking the money line, because all these teams are supposed to win. Any team favored by the algorithm, let's do descending by money line. Any team favored by the algorithm should win. Now let's get rid of the underdogs because we already talked about the underdogs in a different wager. This would be just home teams we think are going to win. You can see St. Louis has had a bad differential here. So, I don't know. But these ones down here, these 5, looks like. Oh, yeah, bet against Duquesne. Duquesne stinks. All these 5, DePaul, Northern Colorado, Providence, Toledo, Tennessee, Tulsa, look like a good round robin there. And that's then the lines start to get really bad. But that's just a way that you can look at it where you can get some value in terms of making a wager. Let's go back to descending point margin. Now, how about your away teams? Favors 8 of them without showing the underdogs. Anything good here is some high margins up here, Florida Gulf Coast, but bad schedule number here. Oakland has a good schedule number. This is not a bad line. Oakland's a pretty good team, and you can see they played better teams also. So Oakland's a pretty good pick on the road here, but you don't get any points with them. You take them just minus 128. And there's some injuries down here. You got Furman over Winthrop. That's not bad either, but they are on the road, but it's 17% margin still. So there's a lot to choose from. I hope that helped today, guys. I'm going to be on to payroll work. I'm doing nothing but payroll work. I'm going to do like one bet with the best picks I just mentioned in the video here, and then just let it go and just check in on it as I am reading tax legislation for 2022. So good luck, everyone. My other picks, if you do one thing in each sport, and you do NBA, oh, and are you listening to me or listening to the algorithm? You listen to the algorithm, you say take the Nets to win. That's what, even though they're on the road. If you do one thing in hockey, it said take Tampa Bay to win. If you do anything in college basketball, I want to do something on the underdogs. Oh, God, am I going to... College of Charleston, I think, lost for us in a pick of the day previously. There's a plus 190 here and a plus 180. Do these 3 things on a round robin. These things look good to win. All right. Good luck, everybody. My picks be winning.